you know that wealthy people are the biggest users of credit and debt? And today I want to talk to you about the strategic role that debt plays in your wealth building journey. Hi, I'm Kaya Ladijobi. I'm a certified financial planner and a personal finance expert. I help people grow their wealth so that they can enjoy all that life has to offer. Today, I'm going to be taking you through my 4-part framework for evaluating whether debt is good or bad. For those of us trying to build wealth, it is important that we understand what our net worth is and the specific levers we need to pull in order to grow it. Net worth is a very simple equation. It's essentially assets, what you own, minus liabilities or debt, also what you owe. That essentially is your net worth number, also known as wealth. If you haven't calculated your net worth in a while or you've never done it before, I have just a resource to help you do that. In the description, you will see a link to a free net worth tracker. And once you download that and just start to take inventory of everything that you own and everything that you owe, so you can start to understand what your starting point is as it relates to building wealth. The first question to ask when considering whether to take on debt and whether that debt will be good or bad for your wealth is, will this debt help you make more money now or more money in the future? That's the first step. What are some examples of debt that can help you make more money now or in the future? One common example that most of us are familiar with are student loans. For many people, given the cost of college or graduate school, they cannot afford to pay out of pocket outright in order to pursue a specific course of study or a degree. And that's where student loans come in. One rule of thumb that I've heard a lot in my industry is you want to make sure that your total level of debt does not exceed the first year salary that you're going to earn in that profession. That could be an unrealistic target for a lot of people because college and programs in general are way, way more expensive. One metric that I found to be more realistic is really thinking about not having the total student debt exceed 2 times what you expect to earn in the first year or two in that line of work or in that profession. Another example, if you're a business owner, if you're thinking about going into a business, is leveraging a business loan or business line of credit in order to take advantage of expansion opportunities, maybe hiring help if your business is getting to the point where you can't serve all the needs or you don't have enough product to sell, there's more demand than there is supply of products or the service you're providing. It is not uncommon to consider taking a business loan or line of credit in order to expand because you know that by taking that step, you're ultimately going to be more profitable, make more money. So, that's another example of debt that is putting more money in your pocket now and possibly in the future. The second thing that I look for is to think about when it comes to evaluating debt, whether it's good or bad, is to think about, will this debt save you money? Good debt helps you save money. One common example is a mortgage. The mortgage interest deduction is written into the tax code. It's essentially the government subsidizing cost of living for those who are able to afford to buy a home. And so when you're thinking about the mortgage interest deduction, it's essentially saving you money. Obviously, within reason, you have to make sure that you're borrowing a reasonable amount relative to your income. But that's another example of the kind of debt that can save you money. Another example is, let's say you are turning your life around. You have debt that you've accumulated in the past from just bad financial behaviors, and you're not ready to sort of start afresh and practice good habits, making sure that you're living within your means, but it's just hard to make progress without really creating a plan for the debt that you might have accumulated in the past. So an example of your new debt to assist and help you save money could be a debt consolidation loan, something that you take on. Hopefully the interest rate is way less than the interest rate on the previous credit cards or other loans that you have. But that's another example where I've seen that kind of debt is essentially going to save you money overall in fees, in interest rates, all of those things. That's another example to think about. Another example of debt helping people save money is when it comes to tax planning. So there are times where wealthy people choose to keep their money and their assets invested because they know that if they sell, especially if they sell something at a profit, they would be triggering, capital gains and possibly needing to pay taxes on those right in that tax year. So one strategic way, if they want to make a move or they're looking for some type of bridge loan that you need between doing X and doing Y, is to consider taking on debt so that they don't have to sell their assets. They don't have to liquidate an investment that they have in order to make another strategic step. Debt can, in fact, save you money if you're thinking smartly about it and it's aligning with the goals and the plan that you've set for yourself as it relates to building wealth. So, based on what I've shared so far, how would you rank the debt that you've taken on in the past? Would you consider it more good debt or bad debt? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. So, the third point I want to share is, will this debt help you take advantage of a life-changing opportunity? There are a lot of times where we come across opportunities and we don't always have the capital we need to jump at it. It could be someone inviting you into a business partnership where the numbers look good, everything looks right, and you just don't have the capital. You don't have the money that's needed on your own in order to make that move. That would be a point where you would want to consider taking on debt in order to jump at that life-changing opportunity. The fourth step when it comes to, is this debt good or bad and will it help you build wealth, is think about the terms of your debt opportunity or your loan. The terms always matter. So these are some things you want to start to think about as it relates to, does this debt have favorable terms? Good debt will always have favorable terms that align with your finances, that align with your life. So let me share some examples of the kind of terms that you want to look for. First is the duration. Good debt is flexible in how long it takes for you to pay it back. Short-term debt you have to pay back rapidly can sometimes be very, very stressful. So you want to make sure that the length of time that you have to pay it back is longer, is more flexible. These are some of the things that you want to look for, especially early on in your journey to building wealth. You don't want to take on debt that needs to be paid back in 3 months when you can prioritize something that has a longer payback period. It's going to be a lot easier for you, and it's going to give you a chance to actually realize the benefits of the reason why you took on that debt. The second term you want to think about is the interest rate. Good debt typically will carry lower rates or single-digit interest rates. Credit cards are notorious for having really high rates. We're talking 16%, 20%. They make it really impossible for people who have a lot of high credit card debt to climb out of that. So if you have 16%, 20%, 24% on any type of debt, you want to prioritize paying that off as fast as possible, or at the very least refinancing that so more of your payments can go towards principal and not just interest. The third component you want to consider that the payments on said debt are affordable for your lifestyle and for your income. Let's say you have a job and by the time you pay your expenses and all the other important bills and food, you have $1,500 left over. You want to make sure as you're thinking about the kind of debt you're taking on, that it's not debt that requires $2,000 a month in payments. You don't even want it to require $1,500 a month in payments because it exceeds or it's just at the right amount that you have left over, which is going to make it a little bit hard for you to invest and do other things. And finally, connected to the factors we've already talked about is ensuring that this debt does not have a prepayment penalty. Some lenders will have written into your contract to say if they give you a loan for 3 years and you pay it off in 6 months, they will charge you a fee for the interest that they were expecting to earn over that 3 years that they did not get because you paid off the loan early. A lot of people don't think to ask about a prepayment penalty, but it's something you always want to think about when you're taking on a car loan or any type of debt. So let me just quickly recap what I said on the terms. It's duration, it's the interest rate, it is no prepayment penalty, and it's making sure that the payments are affordable for your lifestyle. So now that you have my 4-part framework for evaluating whether debt is good or bad, it is time for you to do an assessment, and you can do that with my free net worth tracker that will be available within the description below. I want you to take some time to take inventory of the assets that you have, the debt that you have, calculate your net worth, and just see how things are measuring up. You will be able to see where you are in your wealth building journey. Thank you for watching, and I'd love to see you in the comments.